So, hello everyone. We are back again on our live discussion on protein panel. You earlier heard four nutritionists who were on the panel. Two of them are here with us right now, and other two will join in some time. So, whatever questions you all have, put it up. Earlier session also had some questions, and we'll start talking about those before the new questions can come in, as people are still joining in. The sessions are going great, and it's kind of all mind opening. For the first time, some of the people have heard so much content already available with us. So many of us are already living the lifestyle, and we want to show the way that we have found towards the health, towards the fitness. So much of knowledge, wisdom to share, and people have been appreciating a lot all the time. And it'll take also a time to chew all this information. All the data is available for another 60 days on this platform for all those who have registered, so that they can revisit some of the videos, they can connect to the speakers, they can ask questions, they can think over about what has been said. Because also initially when we got into it, even there wasn't much information available on the net, and we all had to somehow figure it out, somewhere search on the net, and we became a very small community, helping each other, hand holding. Fortunately, there are some extremely good books, extremely good speakers, and gradually, as we watched more videos on internet and we understood the subject, then our own experience, helped us a lot. And now after many years now, we have a very solid ground. A foundation is much stronger, and time to go out into the world and share the information. So Ila, I was just mentioning that in last 3 days people attended three fitness panels by Kuntal Joycer, and there were fantastic athletes and bodybuilders and people who have broken their limits. They were all there, and they were all speaking about their own strength and how it comes from.
Their journey. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
today the Gunjan Sharma just literally brought his cart of fruits, and he showed it to everybody. This is what I eat. This is exactly like, it's totally breaking the myths in the mind
Hmm.
that
Absolutely.
this is what this guy is eating. He doesn't even have to cook much. It's all ready food, naturally cooked by nature, and then you just eat it. And the kind of things that he performs and he shows, and the resilience that he has is tremendous. Like, it's really changing the mindset. We're going against the mainstream marketing and the concepts that people have. But well, we have to go on, and we have the examples, and we are a good bunch of people right now who are already doing it. And so I would like to just begin with a few questions that have seen in earlier sessions. Like, can you just, Kajal, speak about amino acids, the essential ones particularly? That's what people are very worried about. It might be a revisiting of the previous talk, but maybe in a simpler language.
So basically, all amino acids are important for the body, essential and non essential. Essential are actually found in the food that we eat, and that's why it becomes very, very important that when people look at certain building blocks for protein, whether they are even building muscle or something like that, they are able to get it. And that's been the traditional literature. However, what you just shared about Gunjan, right, and him doing what he does and still bringing fruits and vegetables into the context where we as nutritionists are only talking about protein, 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 and amino acids. It's important to know that these things in the vegetarian and the plant based value chain, okay, together also contribute to some form of amino acids which happen through synthesis. It is not important that an amino acid is complete in its form. And Ela, we've shared this enough in our own talks at our clinic as well.
Yes, yes.
And I'm sure that because I've got a sore throat, I want Ela to be contributing to this conversation, because it's the first question when people come to us saying, even if they're not working out, where am I going to get the amino acids? So you could elaborate on it.
Yeah, so the earlier thought process was that we need to combine different essential amino acids which the body cannot manufacture and have to essentially obtain it from food. So there are a few essential amino acids which are rich in pulses but are absent in the cereals. So the thought process was that we need to mix the two to actually get all the nine essential amino acids. But now studies have shown that human body is so intelligent that it maintains a pool of amino acids, and the body is actually able to use those amino acids to manufacture whichever protein it needs. The only thing is we need to have it during, we need not combine it in a single meal. Of course, we need to have varied kinds of sources of protein in the plants so that we get all the amino acids during the day, and the body is actually able to manufacture whichever protein it needs.
So the important point is that even though we see that some vegetables, fruits, even lower vegetables as we call it in the value chain, are having lesser quantity, and some are actually having more, like millets, sprouts, they'll have far more potency of amino acids. However, the whole myth of even mixing it for one meal is redundant now in advanced nutrition. What we are talking about and what Ela is mentioning is that a deficiency of one will cover up for something else during the day as you work it through a lifestyle. We really don't see people in our thesis or in our research saying, hey, this person has low methionine or this person has low lysine. Even when they are working out, the point is, there are 2 points to understand for these building blocks. Number one is actually have, if you're working out or if you're actually looking at your protein quantity and the protein RDA requirement, then do increase the amount of foods that are rich in protein. And that is the plant based foods. Number two, like Ela mentioned, maintain a variety. Do not stick to just saying that, hey, I'm into amaranth or I'm into quinoa and I'll just keep on eating daily. The idea is to rotate and see what is the bioavailability that your body has for those what do you call it, the rich organisms, the microflora to be there in your gut, so that protein absorption also happens very efficiently and effectively. So even if you're having concentrated amino acid capsules, Dr. Rupa, it is not necessary that your body is going to take it in its whole form. In fact, you will find that even lesser amount of acid components in the natural elements, okay, will be far more bioavailable to the body than the potent ones, because there's ingestion, there's absorption, there's assimilation, which is a different factor altogether. And the only way you can measure all of this, the only way to measure it is by the strength, the energy, and the digestion that the body has. So I think I'll rest at that. I can just go on this topic, uh, but we'll keep it simple.
I mean, right on dot, I think we are speaking where there's an entire industry of protein and protein powders and protein for children and protein for women and protein for athletes, and an entire industry that is driven by this entire concept. We are changing the concepts right over here directly from this.
Yeah, I cannot deny that I'm party to that, as I've started Plant Power just to address the same thing that you change the formulation, you change the nature of the food you're eating, you'll still get your amino acid content. So it's not that we don't do shakes or we don't do powders, but we also do superfoods. We also do snacks. which could be rich in protein. So the idea is find something that floats your boat, and if you're heavily into intense workout, of course, increase your calories, increase the good fat, increase that protein enrichment for your body, but do not just focus on one thing as a supplementation. So, yeah, I think we're on the same page.
Yeah, and then the plant-based proteins are the clean proteins, right? We call it.
Absolutely. Oh, yes. Undoubtedly. Of course, the PD-CAS ratios are not the same. So for people out there who are saying that, it's the same, switch one for the other. Let's not fool anyone. It's not the same. However, what is bioavailable more to you? What is cleaner? What is going to make you leaner? What is going to give you the longevity? What is going to give you the energy? What is without any cholesterol? Got the fiber in it, got the antioxidants in it. So all of that, right, without the casein is just a great combination. And today it is difficult for anyone to challenge it. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah, get it. So there's another question. When we are convincing someone to go vegan, they ask about protein intake. So can we tell them that the animals get their protein from plants too? So why not directly get it from there? So this is just the answering way they're asking. A vegan is asking. Is this a best way to answer?
Absolutely. I mean, you see the mighty animals, right? Anila, you can take a shot at this question. Again, we get that asked all the time at KB Health. But there are the mighty animals that we know of for animal lovers, especially who know how the herbivores, the mighty herbivores, are eating. And where is that bony strength coming from? Where is the muscle coming from? So definitely it's coming from the grass. Of course, the more purer it is, the more organic it is, the better it is for your system. There's no denying that. However, the herbivorous animals are definitely getting the mighty strength from the greens, which also have some form of protein, which is meant for their body. Similarly, at least in clinical nutrition and literature, I can stand for the fact that there is no protein deficiency, as in kwashiorkor, which is called. Uh, that is available. Of course, when I was interning at Science Hospital, there are these cases where there are burns patients, or there is somebody having cancer, and at that point of time, it is important that there is no muscle dystrophy happening in the body, because everything degenerates, including the muscle. So at that time, one does have to be careful. But apart from that, if you're eating a healthy, balanced food plan made in your own kitchen and with a great amount of variety, you will find your protein. And yes, animals get their protein from the greens, and there's no need for us to eat animals to get that protein either.
Absolutely. I would like to add that the animals are the middlemen. So why do we can directly get the protein from the source? And if there are middlemen, we get all kinds of, we get cholesterol, we get the antibiotics, which they have been given their hormones through the protein if we eat animal protein. So it's absolutely like, why do we need the middlemen? Why not take the protein directly from the source, which is the plants?
Absolutely right. There's another question that says that what are the leafy sources of protein?
Oh, there are a zillion. I mean, they have smaller forms of protein. Of course, starting from the tandalia, as we call it,
Hmm.
uh, or it's
Chol-
called amaranth, right?
Choli ki bhaji, yeah.
So
Yeah. I'll talk about the local Indian versions. And of course, they have the collard greens and kale, which is
kale,
talked
yeah,
about internationally. Every root that is having some leafy with it, the beet greens, the carrot greens, all of them are actually rich sources, not great sources, not like your quinoa and your millet and your rajgira and your sprouts. However, they are all good. The important part when you're looking at leafy vegetables is not actually to look at the protein content. It's actually to look at the mineral, the macro mineral, the micro mineral content that they have, because every protein needs to digest. So let's say you are having a richer form of protein, it could even be plant-based. However, it needs to have its mineral content so that there's effective digestion happening in the body. Okay. And I would never look at leafy vegetables for my protein. I would just look at it as nutrition and nourishing my soul and my body, and even excess protein is harmful in every form. So it is just a balancer, I would call it, and not look at that. But the minute the seeds or the other forms of the leafy, the fruits of the leafy, when they are sprouted or when they are growing, then that causes much more protein I mean, that is richer in protein for the body just than the leafy greens. They do have their elements, but they are not high in protein. They are meant to be had daily along with the protein. I would always tell people that if you're having a shake or if you're having anything that is even rich in protein, it could be your chickpeas or anything like that. Remember, for some bodies, it's difficult to digest it. And that's why it's important to complement it with these minerals. That all of these leaves contain the antioxidants, the fiber. Animal protein is devoid of fiber. This is something that the leaf offers you, along with something that the plant-based protein is anyways giving. So all of that, right? It's called smart cooking or creative cooking, as I would say it.
Since I have two nutritionists who are plant based right in front of me, I have a small thought to share with you. That since when, like, we have started looking at food as protein, carbohydrate, fat, and calories, since when we have broken it into various components and have forgotten food as a whole, an apple is just an apple. We human beings seem to be carrying a calorie chart and looking at protein content and carbohydrates and talk about carbs and protein and stuff like that. And in the animal kingdom, no animals go with the chart. They just eat what is their food. They can identify what is their food and intuitively just eat it as much as they need, feel satisfied, and don't eat it more. We have come a very long way.
Well, I would blame the Industrial Revolution for it, right? The minute the man started working from 9 to 5 is where everything changed, because everything was fueled to ensure that the energy content was high. They do not develop any kind of illness, etc., if they don't maintain a certain kind of calorie. And there is a certain base to the calorie content. For instance, what we've learned in nutrition and what I do understand and believe is that sometimes we also devoid ourselves of food for a long time, which is also called famously as fasting. And it's a experiment and a practice we all welcome because the body needs digestive rest. However, to maintain the lifestyles that we do in the urban areas that we live, and to keep some amount of balance, there is a standard 1400 kilocalorie plan. Of course, it has been pushed up to 2000 kilocalorie, and I don't know why, because we don't need to eat so much in the first place. However, this whole slotting, there is something called the bomb calorie meter, where any food that is consumed by the body, it is actually shown how it digests and turns into different kind of ashes. So there is carbohydrate, there is protein ash, and there is the glycerol or the fatty acids, which are as residue. And the body is made up of it holistically, right? The emphasis that we give to that is a science, and that is fine. But the emphasis that we give to any one macronutrient over another is actually something that happened post the Industrial Revolution. Um, and I think enterprise changed all of that. I think the biggest nutrient that deserves a book, and Eli and me talk about it all the time, that needs supreme mention is the minerals. Because any food without minerals is dead food. It could be carbohydrate, protein, or fat. and the minerals become like the top of the line in the pyramid, and then comes the rest, according to me. So uh, yeah, and science gets deeper and more micro, um, and people want to run the 21K, you know, by 2 minutes faster, by 5 minutes, they want to climb certain mountains quicker, faster, speed. So all of that, the collective spirit of the individual to better himself, has landed us in this mess. And I hold all of us responsible for it. But at the same time, I know and I'm positive that all of us in a session like yours that you are promoting, right, all the time, uh, that is going to be the collective spirit that will change the way nutrition is going to be looked forever. And that conversations need to happen. So I'm thankful to you for this dialogues that we are having. However, remember, it's always the minerals, and I will still give it its due credit, because that comes from the earth, and that's life, nothing else. So I
So
hope
as
I.
yeah. So as long as we are eating a variety of foods made by plants and not in plants or factories, we need not necessarily worry about getting the nutrition, because if we are eating a variety, we are definitely going to get all the macro as well as the micronutrients.
Dr. Rupa, I think you're
Ah,
on mute.
you are
Sorry. There's another question that says, is there a way to naturally discern without any test if we are consuming more or less protein than required?
Oh, yes, of course. See, the minute you start consuming more protein, there's going to be bloating, because protein is osmotic in nature. It has the tendency to hold water, and that's why when we are on an excess protein diet, the body tends to bulk up and we feel we are gaining muscle, but actually it's first water weight. Until you really work out, you're not going to build muscle. So let's be honest about it, that the food is not giving you the muscle. Working out or using your muscle repetitively is giving you that muscle. Ela, if you can take that, please.
So, of course, excess of protein definitely shows up in the body weight in the form of water weight, because as Kajal rightly pointed out, muscles do contain water, and you just bulk up when you are having excess of protein. Of course, if you are losing muscle, then one thing which we actually need to test is if you are not having sufficient protein in your diet. And I can see somebody has raised a question of hair loss. So
Yes.
hair loss can be due to less protein, but there are various other factors also, like you may be low on iron or on some minerals also, which
Biotin.
like biotin, which may be causing the hair loss.
Yeah, I also want to add here, Ela. Sorry for that. I've just been off in that sense. I just wanted to add, Ela, that we also see a lot of issues with protein excess when it comes to even people putting on weight, right? Because if the
Absolutely.
body can't digest it, where is it going to go? And it does just like excess carbohydrate and excess fat. All excess protein is shifting to fat,
Yeah.
and we've also seen gout. We've seen issues of erectile dysfunction in my clinic due to excess protein, and especially animal
Animal
protein.
protein, yes. And it puts
Uh,
a lot of pressure on the kidneys also.
Absolutely. There's acne when the protein can't be digested well enough. Of course, it also can be due to the way the protein is processed or the nature of protein. So sometimes it also happens with plant protein. You just need to see the labels to understand what something contains, and is it something that's recommended for your body. Like Ila mentioned, that on a dynamic plant-based diet, you can get along for the day, right? Unless you are doing something that's excess uh, for yourself, in terms of your energy output, then we have to figure out a way how to make sure that it's a balance. Uh, so you don't have muscle loss, because according to me, muscle is the most important factor in the body. It's the biggest asset. As you grow older, the body needs it more and more, and we need to maintain healthy muscle mass for sure.
There are so many questions here, my goodness. Okay. So Mudra is writing that she's personally studying to become a vegan health nutritionist. So she wanted to ask, one cup of lentils have 80 to 100 grams of protein per cup. So what is the, I don't understand the word, amino unit
Oh,
of
what is the?
protein in pulses like red gram or moong?
Can you read the question, Ila?
Yeah,
I've
I'm personally
written the,
studying to become a vegan health nutritionist. So
hmm,
I wanted to ask that one cup of lentils have 80 to 100 grams of protein per cup. So what is the amount, I guess, amount of protein in pulses like red gram or moong? In fact, in our nutrition studies, we club all the cereals in one category and pulses in one category. So, of course, a little varies as per the amino acids, but the amount of protein as a whole is the same, which is not 80 to 100 grams of
Yeah,
protein.
30
That
grams
is,
of
uh,
certain size.
yeah, if we get, take a 30 grams of any kind of lentil, so it will have around 23 grams of carbohydrate and around 15 to 17 grams of protein only. Not this much, 80 to 100. So
Yeah,
we need,
and the point is not just to focus on that protein, right?
yeah, because in fact, all fruits and vegetables have, for that matter, potatoes also have uh, uh, certain amount of protein in them. I won't say that they are very good sources of protein, but if you are having at least 3 to 4 servings of fruits in a day, 2 to 3 servings of vegetables in a day, that is enough for you, for a normal sedentary person, to get the amount of protein needed in a day. Of
Yeah,
course, if you are into some kind of uh, um, like if you are a marathon runner or a regular gym goer, you definitely need more protein. But otherwise, for normal human beings, around 0. 0.8 grams per kg body weight of protein is sufficient.
yeah. At the same time, I do want to add that do think about the good carbohydrate and the good fat you are having in terms of complex. Because if you just focus on the protein and you're looking at the other things like, the carbohydrate, which is actually not too healthy in terms of refined sugars, just wheat, which is refined wheat or maida as we call it, all of that, then also it is not working. So the idea is to have a healthy balance of proteins, fats, and carbs, all three together, along with the macro and the micro minerals. So that's the balance.
so we are actually completely out of time now, but there's a last question I still thought will help somebody, that in today's pandemic time, what is the best online source to study for becoming a plant-based nutritionist?
That's the one
Congratulations.
all three of us teach, Dr. Rupa.
That's
So,
right.
actually, we are hosting a course. It's an accredited program run with a nutrition college. It was the first in India that we launched on this panel. Ila's largely responsible for bringing us together for it. Um, and we are conducting this course. Of course, it's for certified nutritionists. That's what the college is giving us the ability for right now. We have proposed to be able to roll this out for everyone, doctors, professionals, even homemakers, because they are the most important. It could be male or female, but they are responsible for the welfare of the family. So do write to us. And Ila, we can just put it on the chat, or you can reach out to Dr. Rupa. And do write to us. We can give you the details of this program. It has fully certified medical and nutritional faculty on its panel. And all three of us teach along with various other experts. So look forward
So,
to see you there.
sure. So those, who have sent us the questions, and we have not yet answered, we have so couple of more live sessions coming up. So stay tuned, and we will be able to answer them. And there's a live session coming up at 8:30 where all of us, whoever can join in, we will share the link. That will be about discussing the way forward. This entire expo is coming to an end by this evening. The last session is also about the vegan music, and that is Dr. Vardarangan, who is going to show his vegan musical instruments, and there'll be some music. Just before that, we have a ending session where we want to do a recap of the entire event. What have we learned? This is the first time that we have experimented an completely online summit kind of thing with some exhibitors showing their vegan products. There's a lot to learn for us. We are happy, we are open for suggestions, so that all that we will be doing. So we'll try and answer some of the questions also just prior to that, and during that session as well. So thank you, Ela, and thank you, Kajal, for giving your valuable time on a Sunday evening.
Thank
And
you
see
so
you
Thank
much,
you
soon
so
again.
much.
Dr. Rupa. I must commend you for what you've created the last 3 days. It's been very exciting to
Right.
hear esteemed speakers, and also just Ila shares a lot about how she's happily looking at other, panelists and
Panelists
people
and
and
yeah,
interacting. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, there's
So
a
yeah,
lot
thank you.
yeah.
happening.
Yes.
Yes, thank you for that.
Thank you,
Welcome.
Dr. Upa.
See you then.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.